What's up, everybody? It's Broken Thief Zidane here, along with Colt Jester.
Yeah, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, we're changing it up a little bit. I'm gonna take care of the intro today. For our nameless podcast that we're still trying to figure out what to call ourselves. We haven't quite got there yet.
We have been brainstorming a bit. We've got a couple ideas in the works, but we're gonna see how this goes. And as you guys can see, I have a new background, and I have a new camera. So trying to elevate the game a little bit, getting me and Daniel on the same code of quality as far as our cameras go, because his camera was far more better than mine.
I mean, to be honest, I probably could have had a worse camera. Hide this mug a little bit, but whatever. Yeah, no, you do have a new background. You did.
Well, when I say
locations.
background, I mean I moved. So yep. I'm in a new apartment. I have a new poster back here. Let's see if we can get the pointing right. I'm terrible at reverse
revoice painting.
Yes, those things.
Yeah. Nice. All right. So, what do we have on the agenda today, Colt?
Well, we're going to start off like we always do, and I think we're going to talk about the games we've been playing, and then we're going to get into the tidbit of news that's been kind of coming up. There's been a lot of news since we've been gone, so we're not going to be able to cover all of it, or else we'd probably have like a 2 or 3 hour show.
Right.
So we don't want to do that for you guys. We want to try and keep these, in those hour ranges, so where they're a little bit more manageable for you guys to be able to watch. And if there's any, I want to start this also in the comments below on either one of our channels. If you guys want to hear about something, you guys want to ask us something, you want to be a part of the show, I do want to start actually incorporating some questions or anything that you guys, give us some feedback, see what we can do better, or just like I said, questions that we may or may not be able to answer for you guys.
Absolutely. Any news you want to hear more on? Anything we can dive into that you want us to talk about?
Or do you want us to stop talking about a particular topic, because for the second or third podcast in a row, we will be talking about Borderlands 3. However,
correct.
We probably won't ever stop talking about Borderlands 3, but we can stoop it down a little bit. Just there's a ton of news every time that we come on here, so we kind of have to bring it up.
I mean, it's the big thing. It's the most popular, well, not the most, but probably one of the most popular games coming out this year. So
not only that, we're also both extremely excited about this game. So
yeah, I'm trying to contain that excitement. It's right. It's very hard.
So with that being said, do you want to kick it off, or do you want me to kick off on what we've been playing?
I'll kick it off with something, and then before we transition to the news, I do have something I've been playing that I'm kind of working on that I want to talk on. For right now, though. Huh? No, you do not. I've actually kept this to myself a little bit.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So, what have I been playing? To start off, probably Outward. I know I talked on that a little bit last episode.
Yeah, but I think you got your hands on it a little bit more in depth this time.
Yeah. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. From what I've played of it, I've got a good few hours into it now. I've gotten to kind of run around with a buddy. We were, having a great time dying and trying to take on multiple enemies. And it's just, I will say the game is so much better played with somebody. But even alone and everything, the skill set up in it, the fact that you are just a regular adventurer, you don't have anything like special or amazing. You can pick the weapon that you want, the play style you want. You can get skills for that weapon that you have to go out and you actually need to farm for silver or gold or whatever the case is, the currency, and actually buy the skills, take quests up mountaintops and everything to unlock magic, so you actually have mana, so you can go get spells and actually cast them. There's a lot to the game. And the crafting aspect, it's just a lot of fun. We're having a ball playing it, and I honestly can't wait to keep playing it. But unfortunately, I kind of set it aside a little bit for probably the past week or two, week and a half.
is there anything else that you've been playing that's kind of got you setting it aside, or has it just been too busy to be playing video games? Because I know that's been one of my big things this in this iteration, or in between these recordings, is between moving, going to Canada again, and different things. I haven't had a chance to play as much, so my list is going to be very small.
I mean, I did spend the whole couple weeks in Florida and everything, and then coming back, there were a couple games I was playing besides that. I did jump on Conan for just a few minutes.
That was the PlayStation free game of the month in April, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I believe it's gone now, considering we are in May. But it was.
I meant to write down the list of what the new games were coming for us to talk about today, and I spaced.
Yeah, I completely forgot to do it too. But no, we picked that up, downloaded it, hefty download, like 70 something gigs. But was running around with that. It reminds me a lot of Ark. For the simple fact that you go around, you're trying to do like kind of a survival building game, resource management, make sure you're drinking water, you're eating food, you're running around with your friends, you're, kind of building places. Every now and then they have a purge where people come in and try to destroy your civilization. You need to actually like defend it, that kind of thing. It's pretty fun. It's got its glitches and everything. And I haven't played a whole lot of it, just a couple days. Other than that, man, minus the little bit that we've played, which I'll let you talk about because you definitely played way more of it than I did. And go ahead.
So before I even get into that, I was actually going to say this till after, but I looked it up. So What Remains of Edith Finch and Overcooked are the two free games for the month of May for the PlayStation. On that note, Epic Games gives away a bunch of free games. Like they give away like one game a month or one game every like 2 weeks. The current game is a game called World of Goo.
Okay.
I added it to my library. I haven't downloaded it yet, so I can't really talk about it. And then May 16th, they have a game called Stories Untold. That is going to be the free game from May 16th to May 30th.
Okay.
So with that being said,
I'll have to check those out.
Yeah, so free games that I've gotten from them, I've gotten Oxenfree, The Witness, Transistor, and then World of Goo.
Right, and I have picked up Transistor as well.
Saying that, Transistor I actually played a little bit on stream. It's what is it called? Supergiant Games, I think is the company.
It's from the same people that made Bastion, right?
They made Bastion. The game that I really want to get that's also on the Epic Game Store is a game called Hades. It's also made by them. Yeah, so Supergiant Games.
I'm intrigued already just by the name, but all right.
Yeah, I really want to play it. I've heard nothing but fantastic things. Transistor is fun. The thing that I like about Supergiant the most is their art style. If you haven't seen the art style of their games, Transistor, Bastion, those two are identical art styles. Go check them out if you appreciate those types of things.
Yeah.
And then I've played a little bit of Spellbreak, which again I want to play it a little bit more because Daniel and I both got into their creators program.
Right.
We each got some free codes. We are going to be wanting to do some giveaways on those codes. Details are going to come in the future. We don't have the exact methodology of how we're going to do it yet, but we each have three codes. So that's going to be a total of 6 codes. Spellbreak is another battle royale game. However, you're a wizard or a mage, however you want to look at it. So each hand you get a different gauntlet that does different elemental damages, and you can combine those in super fun and interesting ways to increase the amount of damage to poison and fire, and it's like this poison cloud that it turns into. If you have a wind gauntlet, you can kind of burst towards the ground, and it'll launch you up in the air.
Yeah, see, and that's one game that I know I signed up for the whole creating deal along with you, and you've played it, but I haven't actually had the time to be able to get on yet to play it with you.
Yeah, I've played 2 matches so far, so I haven't really played much. I'm still wanting to get into messing around with it. Outside of that, Daniel and I did a stream. We actually did his first stream of Realm Royale, which was another battle royale game, but I think it's, from my perspective, it's the one I enjoy the most of all the battle royales that are out there.
Without a
very
doubt.
very cartoony, kind of art style, similar to Fortnite. There's no building. The weapon selections and the class selections, you have a warrior, a hunter, an assassin, and a mage. They each have their own abilities. It's really fun. So if you want to see some gameplay of that on a stream, check out either one of our channels. We have live streams of us playing that game.
That was a lot of fun that night too. I can't wait to do another one.
Yeah,
I was having a ball just running around as a chicken the majority of the game. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, so if you die, you get turned into a chicken, and then you have like 15 seconds or something like that to try and run away and survive, and then you can kind of spawn back up as a person. Yep. So there's a lot of entertainment value in that. And then I've been playing a game. I did a little stream of it. Daniel and I played a little bit, but I spent a lot of time building my castle in a game called Creativerse. It's a Minecraft clone for the most part. A little bit better graphics than Minecraft.
Yeah, a lot better graphics than Minecraft.
And that's one of the things that appeals to me, is that, like, I'm not this giant graphics snob, but at the same time, I understand Minecraft's point of intention with their graphics. I don't care for that point of intention.
To me, what you build in Creativerse is just more rewarding because of the way it looks. Like the cleaner graphics just make it that much cooler.
Yeah, so so Daniel and I started at like 11:30 building this sky castle. I stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning working on that, and then I probably spent another 6 hours or so over the next 2 days, maybe only a day, working on the rest of that.
Jesus.
I had really bad carpal tunnel from sitting at my computer and listening to that for the amount of hours I put into it.
Well, I know you had me load in so you could show it off right before we started this, and what I remember from when I went to sleep that night, because I'm old, is I was helping you build it up, and we had some of the staircasing going and maybe a couple of the little walls and everything. And then when I loaded in today, it was just like, boom, castle in the sky. I'm like, yeah, you've been busy.
Yeah, so outside of that, I wanted to touch on this because of the fact that I wasn't going to bring this up until you said what you said about Outworld. Was it's more fun to play with somebody else, and that is, in my opinion, The Division 2. I haven't played it in a while, and I loaded in last night, and I went to go do a mission, and I was trying to remember the controls because I hadn't played it in a while, and I was kind of getting my head caved in, and I was like, because I kept getting flanked, and I was like, man, if I had somebody else here just helping cover both sides and everything like that, it's one of those games where I think it's so much better played multiplayer than it is trying to do that story single player.
That's my bad. You wanted me to get on with you last night and play with you, and I was like, I'm way too exhausted.
No, and I understood that.
You know, but it's one of those things where, like, I keep wanting to play The Division 2, and I keep wanting to come back to it and play more with you on the computer and everything, and I haven't had the time or the will.
Yeah. Well, I was watching some UFC fights last night, and I was texting my brother-in-law, and he was playing it. And he's level 30, and he's doing some of the strongholds, and he's doing some of that stuff. And he was telling me about how fun it was, and I was like, oh man, I need to get back into it. I think I'm like level 26. I jumped in, I'm only 23.
Right.
So I still have a little ways to go, but I really, really, really want to get back into playing that game because I really want to try and see what the end game is like.
I've heard nothing but fun things about the end game. I really want to get there with you. I just have to actually devote some time to playing it.
Yeah, and what sucks is I'm leaving tomorrow to go out of town till Friday. So we're recording on a Sunday night. Wake up Monday morning. Monday morning. I have 5 stores that I'm going to be visiting just tomorrow. So yeah, it's going to be a busy day tomorrow.
Yeah, no kidding.
But anyway,
you're not going to take your desktop with you?
You know what the funny thing about that is one of my coworkers actually used to bring his desktop with him.
Really?
when he would travel. Yeah.
I can't. Wait. Hold on.
I'm
That
not
thing
kidding.
would not fit easily in a.
I mean, the Prius, it has a ton of room, so like it'd be easy. It's just it's not conducive to like the whole taking it apart, bringing it down piece by piece, and then taking it all up into the hotel. No, I'm all right.
Right. And then you have to rely on hotel internet.
Yeah, unless you want to spend like the $5 or whatever it is to get their faster internet. No thanks. And not to mention,
No.
like I don't even have a Wi-Fi card in my desktop, so most of the time you don't have a hardline connection.
Good luck trying to find a hotel that actually has a hard line.
I had one that had a working one, but that was it.
Yeah. I've had a couple that have had the plugs, but they don't work.
Yeah, and that's how most of the hotels I go to are.
Yep.
With all that being said, you said there was one more thing you wanted to talk about before we went into the news.
Yeah, it's just something else I've been playing and kind of tinkering around with. So I'm a Final Fantasy fan. I love
You
pretty much.
know. No,
I love
you know.
you. No,
Yeah,
not me.
like you know, but yeah,
I thought you said
yeah.
you know. I was like, yeah, you know.
No, like no, not you. I should say
you, like you.
Yeah, all right, we've spent some time on this.
So, being the Final Fantasy fan that I am, I found it amazing that I have never come across this actually in my days watching various people stream until lately. And that's the speed runs of the different Final Fantasies. So, upon coming across this and seeing like all these awesome guys speedrunning these games, especially Final Fantasy VII, I decided I'm going to sit down and learn everything that I need to speedrun this game successfully.
So here's I have two questions about that.
Okay.
Before you get into it, one, are you gonna speed run it on your Switch?
No.
Or are you gonna speed run it on your PlayStation?
Kind of. So, the way I am starting to practice is I have it on the computer. I'm just playing it on the computer, doing the PC version.
Okay, so you do have it on PC. That was my last question.
I do.
I was actually looking it up just now. What the cost was.
So I have 6, 7, 8, 9. I have all the Final Fantasies on various platforms, but as far as like 6, 7, 8, and 9 go, I think I have like different variations of that on like 3 or 4 different platforms.
Do you have 7 on Steam?
I do.
Okay.
So what I'm doing right now is practicing 7 on the on my desktop, running through, trying to get the step count down, trying to get the strategies down, the little skips that you can do to save 5 minutes or whatever here and there. I'm trying to learn it all. I've done a couple practice attempts. I thought about streaming them, but then I'm like, no, because it's my first practice attempt, and an example being I started it, I got an hour in, I decided I would attempt this one little skip, and it's literally to save yourself like 20 seconds, and I soft locked the game.
Nice. So, what is, and I don't know if your plan is to try and do like, see how close you, or maybe your plan is to try and see how close you can get to like the speedrun records. But my question is, what is the current speedrun record?
Ooh, so I think 7. There's a lot of different like variations. So
the most common variation. We don't need to go into too much.
Well, no, I mean it's, I guess like the most common one that I've seen would be any percent, and like if you're doing any percent on a console where you have any, like you're just completing the game, it's like I think a little under 8 hours.
Okay. By the way, my cat came into the room to say hi.
If you're doing it on the PC, I've seen several people that speedrun it on the PC that do it in like 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes, something like that. That's because they use like all of these death warps and shit like that.
Sure.
And I'm like, that's not what I'm trying to do. I want to do my goal is to practice on the PC and then do it the legit way of hooking up the PS2 to my computer and capturing all of my stream data with my time clock and running through the actual disc 1 through 3 on the PS2.
Okay. I'd be interested to see that.
That's something that as of right now, I don't know. I'm definitely not anywhere close to being ready to running a full stream. But I do, as I continue to practice and continue to play around with it, I plan on trying to stream some of my attempts and slowly break it up into different segments as I run through and see what my times come out to and so on. So, and this is something I'm planning on doing with starting with Final Fantasy VII, and then I fully want to take on 8, probably 6, and eventually maybe 9 and 10. So
okay, cool. That sounds actually really interesting. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that. I know how you are with 7, so I'm very interested to see how that's going to play out.
I figured for someone like you who will probably never play 7.
I've played 7.
I mean, again,
I wouldn't mind going back and playing it because my history with Final Fantasies, I've only beaten 10. I've gotten really far in 7, 8, and 9. I got to the 3rd disc on all 3 games, and getting to the 3rd disc on 7 is a lot substantially further in concept than the
considering
others.
it's only 3 discs. Yes.
So, I wouldn't mind eventually revisiting it and playing it, especially since like on Steam it's only $11.99. So
yeah, it's and I think I don't know if they're still on sale, but I think like 6 and 8 were actually on sale for like $5 a piece or something like that.
I will have to look into those because I would love to replay 8.
Yeah, see, and I've been watching a couple of the speedruns on 8, and I'm like, man, I would love to take this on. Granted, I hated the mechanics of 8. Like the draw system.
Yeah, we don't need to get into all that.
Yeah, no. I'm not going into details, but watching the way these guys put it to use and the things they do with it, I'm like, I really want to go back and try that.
Sure.
So, yeah, there's I'm having a lot of fun with it, and honestly, spending like 3 or 4 hours the other night doing attempts for runs and like soft locking my game or screwing up my step count and like ending up killing my party and so on and so forth. Like an hour in, it wasn't as frustrating as you would think it would be. It was more fun.
Yeah, no, I think I would get frustrated by that. But I don't know. I've never really been. I've been interested in watching speedruns. I've never been interested in doing my own.
Right.
So,
well, hey, when we get into 8, or whenever I get into actually doing the speedruns, I could use a commentator. So
I'm down.
Because there are several moments where I'm not going to be able to like talk about the story or what's going on or what I'm doing. So
or read comments or anything like that.
Exactly.
Entertain the audience. No, I'm definitely down with that. I love getting into streams and helping people out in that way.
So I'm definitely going to need some help there. But yeah, that's the project that I got going that I'm slowly working on.
Cool. All right. Yeah. No, I'm very excited about that. With that being said, do you want to transition into some news?
Some news. News. All right. What do we want to start with?
I say let's actually jump right into the Borderlands 3 segment since we've kind of talked about Borderlands 3 a lot. Let's go ahead and get that one out of the way.
I was thinking the same thing, considering you talked about how we bring it up every episode now.
Yeah, so crossing our fingers that we don't have Borderlands 3 news next time.
No, I'm not crossing my fingers.
No. Honestly. So here's my thing. With a game like this, for how excited I am, we talked about it once, saying, "Hey, rumors that it's coming to PAX." And then it was all the news about it at PAX, and now it's the gameplay reveal. And at this point in time, I'm in a mode where it comes out in 4 months. I don't need anything else.
I do agree with you on that aspect, just for the simple fact that I was listening to a couple other interviews, and they were saying that basically the game is done. It's right now, like, they could almost release the game the way it is, and it'd be pretty close to being finished. They're spending the majority of their time right now, like, cleaning up bugs and
not releasing a broken game like other companies do.
exactly. It's amazing, isn't it? They even
Yeah.
said on stage, like, how this is, they've never had this much time to devote to this, like, kind of game, to work on a game like this. They're kind of on their own schedule, so they're like, when we're releasing this to the public and we're showing you and everything, it's pretty much complete.
So,
Like,
you watched the gameplay reveal in its entirety.
yes.
I only watched less than half. So
While I was at work, supposed to be working.
So all I saw was the intro to the game. Once they fast forwarded it a little bit, that's when I didn't get a chance to continue watching.
So you missed the instance on loot instancing and co-op play. And
yeah, and for me,
guns with legs.
Yeah, I mean, the guns with legs was showed in the trailer.
No.
I get that they probably showed more. I'm gonna let me break this down a little bit, and then I'll let you get into the more grittier detail. So, they showed off the intro to the game, and they showed it off in a way of, like, they showed a still image, and they're like, "Oh, you probably think that this is a screenshot or some pre-designed trailer that we're showing you," and then it spans out up and down. And it's like, nope, this is the game. We're starting off and go. And it looked gorgeous.
Yes.
I mean, just straight up, it looked really, really pretty.
It's so beautiful.
And, it does all the normal tutorial stuff. If it's somebody new coming into the series, here's how you jump, here's how you slide.
Claptrap's back.
Claptrap's back. I will say this. I don't know how you felt about a Claptrap at the beginning. And I'm not tired of Claptrap by no means, but his jokes kind of just felt dry, and they felt very Claptrap.
It was
not in a good way.
It felt expected.
Yeah, and I don't know.
The only thing that I will say that was, like, hysterical to me that didn't feel expected was the stealth part.
Yeah, so they introduced a little bit of a stealth type thing where you can hide behind things. And then they showed up all the way to, like, a first mini boss, and the game, it's exactly what you expect from a Borderlands. You get all these different weapons, you get your first shield early in the game, you level up, but they went into how the skill trees and things are different, and how you can start throwing points in right away rather than it used to be this, like, here, let's highlight your ability first, and then let's start diving into the trees. You're actually diving straight into the trees. You're automatically starting in that.
Well, that's because every tree has its own ability now.
Right, and I really like that change, and I like the fact that it's showing this evolution of what Borderlands is doing, rather than it being, one of the big concerns about the game was, what are they going to do to make this game feel new?
Right.
And everything like that. And I think so far what they've shown off, they've done a really good job with it.
So you didn't get to see Zane the operative then?
No.
All right. So without going into a lot of detail, because I don't want to ruin a lot of things for you, but
yeah, because I am going to go back and finish it.
I know you are. So on, like, someone like Zane, who's the operative, who's like a cross between a couple different classes, they gave you the option to sub out. Instead of having, I believe, the grenade, you can actually take the grenade off and put a second of your class abilities on.
Okay,
so cool. You can use two different class abilities at once on your character, and they're doing things like that to give you different options for play style. They said that you have your skill trees. Every skill tree has its own action, like special or whatever. That way, you build it the way you want. You could be pulling from different trees. You could have one tree that you're completely maxed out because that's the way you like to play. Typical Borderlands, but they're giving you a lot more, almost customizing out of it.
Okay. That sounds cool.
Did you see the 2 parts to the weapon?
No. Like
So
I said, I didn't see very far into this.
I can't remember where the video cut off and where it didn't, like where it stops. So all your weapons, you have 2 different firing systems.
Oh, no, I did see that. Yes, I did see that.
Okay,
so you have like a regular bullet, and then like some of them are like explosive rounds, or
Right.
like so you can have a gun that has like fire bullets, and then you can change over and have like ice bullets.
Well, one of the best examples I heard was I don't know if you've heard of the manufacturer that does like the tracing rounds, where you can sit there and like you can basically throw out a thing and it will target enemies, and then you could just fire in the air and your bullets will home in to those enemies.
Okay.
Well, the person that was playing had a gun where their second ability for their weapon shot missiles. So they threw out a tracker, it homed in on the enemies, they switched over and shot a shit ton of missiles up, and it tracked all the enemies and blew them up.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds really, really...
Things like that I'm like, this is awesome. They're making this game so much more than what it was before. And then the loot instancing that I was telling you about is basically you can keep a classic mode the way they used to have it, or you can play with the new way of doing it where if I'm level 5 and you're level 20, when you come in, your character will be level 20 still, and the enemies are going to be basically the same as what I am, but your damage is going to be somewhat downgraded to where mine is.
So that way you're not just like completely melting everything.
Yes, but it's still going to feel like
fun.
you're doing damage in your part of the game. It's just the way they set it up. It's like your numbers are going to be higher. However, the enemies are going to be tailored to your level versus my level, but we're still going to be fighting the same enemies.
See, and that's one of the things that I think the Division, their system of trying to make co-op work is, so since we've been playing on the PC, I've always been higher level than you. So you're always being leveled up to me. But yet all your guns are still your level, and there's a little bump to it, but like you're just it doesn't feel right to the amount of damage that you're doing and the amount of damage you take and everything like that. So it just, because you still have your scale, your level of armor and everything like that. So I didn't think the Division did it so well, and I think sounds like they're doing a better job with it.
I think Borderlands may have finally figured it out. They
it.
also did their loot, like the whole loot instance that I was talking about, where they said you're level 20, I'm level 5. We get loot. We don't have to fight over loot or anything like that. When I get loot, it could be a white, a blue, a purple, whatever the case is, level 5. When you open it, it could be the same gun, but it's going to be your level.
Oh, that's cool. So,
like, when you're playing with me, you're not just sitting there running around like, oh, it's all worthless junk.
I can't use any of this. And it's a waste of my time to be helping you, basically.
Exactly. And one last thing that I did, one of the interviews I listened to, they were talking about the guns and how they noticed when they were shooting a white gun in the beginning, it seemed to actually be hitting the target. And like it seemed like it was actually like doing decent damage, and they're like, I'm not used to this out of a looter shooter, Like the white guns are trash. You're supposed to be going after, green, blue, whatever. Mm-hmm. And they answered that by saying basically they wanted to make it so that every gun has its strengths, and you can come in and you can have a white gun that's actually going to do damage and going to be accurate, and it's going to be enjoyable to use. But then you can get a blue gun that's just more awesome.
That's cool. I like that too. I think that's the one thing that I like about Gearbox is that they care a lot about what they do and the product that they put forward, and so I'm really excited about this game.
Me too. Hearing everything that I've heard on it after watching the video and the interviews, and I'm just, September can't come here fast enough, man.
Sure. On that note, I did want to bring up something that we didn't have on our agenda because we had talked about it through text. And this is referencing the complete opposite of the spectrum of tone deaf teams. Well, I can't say tone deaf teams. Like, that's kind of insensitive. So, my bad. So
Shame.
Anthem, yeah. Well, I'm that tone deaf thing is more directed towards EA, not BioWare.
No, I know.
Specifically. So Anthem came out and recently announced that all of their future content is on hold.
Right.
They want to work on fixing the game and making it enjoyable and making it playable. And I just want to say, one, I'm not surprised.
Nope.
Two, this is really disappointing for the people that, for whatever reason, actually enjoy this game. And there are some people, and I don't know any of them. I don't know anybody that still is playing this game or enjoying it. But there's people out there that have been looking for this Cataclysm event, and it's the in-game raid type event, and now they're just left not being able to have that come to them, and it's just.
Well, I will say, like, you have your people out there that, maybe they didn't have that many of the glitches and the bugs. Maybe they actually, things went smoothly, and they just like a game. Because I will give Anthem is fun to fly around in the fighting style.
Yeah.
Like, it honestly is. So if you didn't run into a lot of the bugs and glitches, or you could just deal with it, or whatever the case was, and you continued on, I mean, there are those people out there that are, they're looking forward to the end game stuff, and now they don't get it. Not for quite a while, because this game was pushed out before it should have been.
Yeah, and that's where EA takes the blame, because I think EA was really wanting to put a rush on this, and it's kind of disappointing to see. And I'm saddened for BioWare, and I'm saddened for the fans of the game that are there. And I know this is a completely different tone than you're probably used to when it comes to me talking about Anthem, but I think between all the stuff that team went through to get this game out, and all this that's there now, it's kind of hard to hear.
Yeah. No, I mean, especially after the one article that Jason Schreier put out, where it's like, everything that happened during the process of this game and making it and so on, and it's like the big push to get it out the door, and it's like now it's out, it's done, and shitty.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like I said, I just wanted to bring that up and address it. So we'll keep you guys posted as we hear news about when they have a new roadmap for that content and everything like that.
Right.
So
hopefully soon.
Yeah, the next thing I wanted to talk about is something that if you would have given me maybe 2-3 months ago, I'd probably be way more excited to hear about this than I am now, just because I started playing more on my PC, and I haven't really been touching my PS4 as much. Some of the stuff isn't rumors. Some of what we will talk about is rumors, and the reason I say some isn't is because one of the lead designers of the PS5 actually did an interview with Wired and talked a lot about a lot of this, about a lot of the hardware that's going to be in the PS5.
Right.
And I think there was also somebody that said, don't expect it before April 2020, which I kind of anticipated, but I also want to, I've said this to you, Daniel, and I want to be on record on camera saying this. I still stand by my statement that with PlayStation not being at E3, which is a little sequitur to another story that we're going to talk about, I still think that they will show off the PlayStation 5 at PSX, which will probably be in December, and I think they're going to use their own platform to really, really show off this new hardware. But they have a new AMD chip that's being custom designed for the PS5.
Right.
It's they are talking about full backwards compatibility with PS4. You're able to use your PS4 controllers on the PS5.
Correct. And your VR set. Don't forget about that.
Your PSVR headset with your PlayStation Move controllers, which this means it's one of the first, well, not first, but it's like second or third system that or consoles generations that have had a controller that has been being able to be used over 3 different generations, because the PlayStation Move controllers were introduced on the PS3. You've been able to use them on the PS4, and they will be used on your PS5. I think the only one that off the top of my head that you've been able to use over that many generations, if not more, is the GameCube controller.
Right.
And that's primarily because Super Smash Bros. Demands their GameCube controllers. And I said that with a little bit of attitude because I don't really like the GameCube controller.
No, the GameCube controller is very odd.
It is, but Smash players like it. I mean, it is what it is. So
yeah, I know they put a solid state in the PS5, right?
Yes. So they were showing off load times of Spider-Man specifically, where it took like 15 seconds to fast travel to a location, and it took less than a second to fast travel on the PS5.
Right.
That was due to
nuts.
the processing power, the graphics chip, and the solid state drive that they're putting into the PS5.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like under a second to load in. And I know they were go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I know the graphics like increase was a big thing, which
Yeah, so they're claiming that they're going to be able to do 8K graphics, which is really interesting for the fact that like computer graphics, like if you have a graphics card, you got to have like a really top of the line to really push those 8K. And I don't really know if there's anything that could really handle that type of stuff.
I don't know anybody that has any like 8K TVs or anything. So
well, I mean they're out there, and I mean I have a 4K TV.
I don't know anybody that has it.
Yeah, I don't either, and they're probably kind of pricey. But the other thing is that I mean, if you want a top of the line graphics card, you're going to spend, $1,500, $1,400. You're going to spend quite a bit of money if you want, the la creme de la creme of graphics cards.
Right.
So that kind of put everybody in a little bit of a tizzy about what the price point on the PlayStation 5 is going to be, which I heard a rumor today, and I hadn't discussed this with Daniel yet, but the rumor is that the price point on the PS5 is looking like it's going to be $499, so it'll be $500. That's
fully what I expect.
Yeah, and I mean, the good news is it's not the $600 price point that the PS3 was, which was a nightmare of a disaster.
I don't think they could make that mistake again.
No, but I think they see what Xbox is doing with the One X,
right?
And how it's selling at that price point, and I think that it's a solid price point. It's a little bit. It's another one of the reasons why I'm not as excited about the next generation console. I mean,
I have no problem with the $500 price point, and that's because of the internals that are going to be in it, and the fact that what does the PS4 Pro go for now?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I got mine brand new at whatever the price was for that, but I also sold my regular PS3. I think it was $400 because I sold my regular PS4. I sold that to my dad for $200 because I was going to trade it in. That's what they were going to give me, so he just gave me the cash because he wanted to give it to my other brother.
Right.
And then I just spent $200 of my own money to get a PS4.
And see, you're talking like $400 for a PS4 Pro. This one, I mean, you're talking PS5, next gen, upgraded components, everything else. I $500 I'm okay with. $600 I would say you're out of your mind. I'm not picking it up.
And I'm not complaining about the price point. I'm really not. I don't really have a problem with the price point. I think it's a good price point for it to be at.
Right.
I've been debating this for a while, whether or not I'm going to be upgrading to a PS5 at launch, and seeing that it's $500, and I say seeing, but rumoring at $500, even at $400, like I just don't know if I have my own money to be able to shelling out lump sums like that right now. So I think that's what's going to keep me playing stuff on the PC for now.
Well, I mean, yeah, and you are primarily playing on the PC lately.
Yeah. So and
me personally, I will. I'll be dropping the 500 because I fully plan on within the next couple weeks to a month having my setup so I can actually stream my PS4 stuff.
Nice.
So I plan on upgrading just so I can continue that along with the PC.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing is, I don't know, I just went blank on it. I will say this though, the other thing that I do want to preface is that we are so tomorrow. I don't know if Stadia is going to be announced or like they're going to say anything else about it, but Google has a 3-day event going on tomorrow through Wednesday,
Right.
or something like that. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on that to see if there's any Stadia news. But that is something that I am very interested in
I definitely, I'm with you there. I want to follow it. I want to see what comes out with it.
Well, I think for me, I want to see the price points on like games and what their services are going to be, because I have Google throughout the house. So
Right.
I have Chromecast on the living room TV. I have Chromecast in the bedroom. So being able to just pick up a controller and being able to play like new games on my TV that way, I'm kind of sold on it.
Right. No, it's definitely, the convenience of it is amazing. And it sounds great. I just hope it's not one of those too good to be true deals.
Sure.
So I want to follow it. I want to see what else comes out of it. Price points. I want to see what kind of subscriptions you're looking at. Are there obviously there's going to be like internet connection. I think they said the requirement for the internet connections before on their streams, but it's like there's different things.
A minimum requirement right now is either 25 megs a second or 30 megs a second.
Okay.
And I have that here, so like that's why I'm sold on it.
Yeah, which
so
I'd be fine here, but there's the potential that I could be moving in the next year, so it's one of those things where I'm like, I'll look at it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I think we have 2 more pieces of news that I can think of off the top of my head.
2?
I think
2 or 1? See, we did Borderlands 3.
It's the last
PS5.
one's the last one's a small story. So let's jump into the bigger one. So the bigger one is actually, you know what? I'm gonna let you take this one because I think you're gonna have more to say about it than I will. However, I think both of our mindsets are in the very same space in this one.
Are we? I'm thinking we're on the same page.
You know we're on the same page.
I'm assuming we are. I think we're talking about E3.
Yes.
I think we're talking about the fact that PlayStation won't be at E3, and they left this gaping void there for their time slot.
The money slot of E3, at least in my opinion. It's
by far like one of the biggest slots of E3.
Yeah.
That I always look forward to. And somebody swooped right in and took that thing up, and I'm...
Atari.
It's gotta be Atari. It's definitely Atari. You broke it, dude. You're all over it. It's actually just one giant preview for the new Sonic movie. Square Enix decided that they are going to take the PlayStation slot at E3. Now, I know this is somewhat older news considering it was announced probably over a week ago. However, it's got me more than excited because you don't take a slot like PlayStation's and not show up with your A game.
Yeah, and so I think the biggest announcement that they're going to be talking about is the Avengers game, right? Poking the bear.
Fuck you.
No,
I was taking a drink. I do fully expect to see the Avengers game there. I am looking forward to that.
The Avengers game had a teaser. Square has been working on this game for a long time, but they haven't said anything about it. So I'm really interested to see what direction they take this game.
Right.
But in all seriousness, go ahead, Daniel, with the...
it
actually is the biggest...
They have to show up especially after the whole dropping the ball with Final Fantasy 15 and the episodic deal, and I'm drawing a blank on his name now. He walked out before development was complete, so they had to pull the episodes. They had all these issues, so you have to show up with a Final Fantasy. You have to redeem yourself, and it has to be Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, so Alright, so Final Fantasy VII Remake has got a little bit of a choppy history. They came out and announced that they did announce it too early.
Yeah.
The other thing is that one developer was working on it, and they have since put it to a different developer, and they kind of had to redo a few things. So I'm very interested to see what kind of state that this game is in, and if they are going to show it off. I would personally, what they have showed off. I'm actually really excited about Final Fantasy VII. Nowhere near as whichever direction he is. So it's gonna be very interesting to see where they take this game.
I cannot wait. Now I know it's already been announced that they're doing episodic releases. So you're gonna be looking at if my. I'm okay with it just for the simple fact of the amount of detail they're talking about adding to the story.
Who cares? It's a game that's been released so many times. It makes no sense to release this game in parts, especially for these people that have been waiting for this game for so freaking long. It makes absolutely zero sense. Just release it in full. I don't care if it takes another 5 years. Just release it all at once.
Shut your mouth.
I said that 5 year mark.
I know you did. I know you did. No, but the only reason I'm okay with it is because they're talking about the level of detail that they're adding to the game is adding extra playtime and extra story content. So you're expanding upon a story that's already been told. You're giving people the ability to move around and explore different areas of Midgar, instead of Midgar being a typical, maybe 4 or 5 hour excursion to get out of the beginning city. You might spend 12 to 20 hours there. I'm estimating. I have no idea.
I know. And I mean, that all makes sense and that's all fine and well. I still don't think it's a good idea for them to do this episodically.
Trust me, I would more than love to see the full game. However, I think at this point, they have to release something.
Here, I'll tell you this. I waited 13 years for Kingdom Hearts. You can wait another 5 for Final Fantasy VII. It's fair. Fair trade.
Wait a minute.
I don't know what he's doing. We can't see each other for
no, we cannot
for a transparency thing.
The Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997, so technically, when the game first released, I was waiting on a remake.
You were waiting on a remake of a game that you had no idea that they were remaking. I'm talking about from
I immediately after playing it, I'm like, this game has to be made in the future on future consoles. I need to experience it again.
All right, now you're just talking about your ass, and we can move on from here.
That's fine.
Before we actually do, that's only 2 games though. So I don't know.
I can tell you what speculation has been on the 3rd.
Well, let me ask before you say speculation. Do you think that they would bring up 16 at all? Final Fantasy 16.
So that's what you keep hearing, is that people expect 16 to be there. I think it's too soon.
I think so too, especially with the Final Fantasy 15 debacle. But at the same time, I wouldn't put it past them to Square's been notorious, and hopefully they fix this, and hopefully they don't show 16 for this reason. But
yeah,
even if they showed a teaser for something that might be down the road a bit, but they've been notorious for announcing things way too soon. So
yeah, I could see maybe kind of what the whole Elder Scrolls teaser and everything, how they did that, where you just show a brief 2 seconds or whatever of something coming up. So I mean that's definitely something I could see happening. Otherwise, I don't think 16 appears there.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So the last little story that I'll bring up, and then we can kind of wrap this up, is there's an interview that was done with the CEO of Epic Games, talking about how they are doing the 88-12 split with developers. And that he seems to think that this may lead to future game price drops. I could see it on one hand because his mindset is that they can lower the price and sell more and make more.
Right.
And great in concept, but at the same time, we get games at $60 and for particular reasons, and if they can sell them at $60 instead of, they can look at it like this. There's this rumor going around that because development is so long and it costs so much that they're looking at raising prices in the future. That's been a rumor I've been hearing.
Right.
This would actually allow them to maintain keeping it at that $60 rather than lowering it or raising the prices.
And that I would be okay with. You want to try to maintain the 60, fine. You want to raise the prices, I'd be a little irritated by it, but I fully understand.
I mean, we've been at $60 for who knows how long.
Yeah, I get why the games are $60. Like, the amount of, development that goes into these games just so you can play them. I mean, but, look at what you were just saying about Kingdom Hearts 3. It's been in production for years, and you got a full team, a full group of people that are working on that. So, what goes into it and the amount of money that you have to put into that game, you have to make that money back.
Yeah. I will say this one last little tidbit about Kingdom Hearts. I don't know if you heard this. But they did announce a DLC that's coming for the game that's going to give it more story, more bosses, and stuff like that. I
did hear that, and I gotta beat the game before that comes out.
Yeah, so there's no other information on it. There's no price. There's no dates on when it's coming. But for the Kingdom Hearts fans that are out there, that is a thing that's coming. So
yeah.
Do you have anything else that you want to talk about real quick before we end this thing?
Not that I can think of. Other than that, I agree with your thought process on the whole not lowering the money. But
yeah, I don't think it'll make sense.
No, but there's much smarter people than us working on that.
For sure. All right. With that being said, again, we are working on a name for this podcast. But until then, this is the Nameless Video Game Podcast.
Yeah.
I am Colt Jester.
I am Broken Thief Zedan.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Peace out.
All right, take it easy.